I did want to ask you a Hunger Games question because I'm also obsessed with that franchise, but I'm really curious to know what it's like making the decision to do one project versus another. What are some of the prime factors that you have to consider when making a big choice like that?
I'm so happy to talk about this. I was asked about that recently because I think there was some stuff out at the time that was really not the kind of accurate about it. It was actually it was so simple what happened, which was that I was doing Much Ado About Nothing in the park with Hamish. I think we had been planning it for however long, talking about it for probably a few years. And then it was happening and it was set. And when I was cast in the Hunger Games, the dates worked with Much Ado. I think I was going to shoot it before we started rehearsal. And for reasons that I can no longer remember that had absolutely nothing to do with me, but just to do with production, the dates pushed on Hunger Games, and they pushed a few times. So at first we were still fine, then we were still fine. And then they pushed to the point where it wasn't even during our rehearsal period. It was actually during our performance period. And the park schedule, there are so few performances. They're so precious. It's why when it rains, we wait and we wait and we wait. And we go on until, the lightning is shutting, because we will do it in the rain. You just do not want to miss a single one of those performances. They're so precious. And the rehearsal period is quite short too. So the whole thing is really short, and there are no understudies. And even if I had an understudy, you just don't want to give one up, but there aren't any. And it just got to the point where there was no way for me to do the Hunger Games. And it wasn't even really a battle. It was just, this no longer works out. And I have made this commitment to do Much Ado. And the Hunger Game side, they were all completely aware of it. And they so understood my choice and were so supportive. So there was really no drama. It was, the only sad thing was that I couldn't do both, but it wasn't a sort of, which one do I do? Because one had been my prior commitment, and everyone was totally aware of that. So it was unfortunate, but it ended up, as I suppose, I don't know. I've never really, it just was what it was. And when I couldn't do both, I couldn't do both. And,
Makes sense. Makes sense. I respect that choice.
But I remember reading something like, "There's no, who would ever how do you choose doing a let's no," and I was like, well, but that was my, it was my commitment, and it was in my heart to play Beatrice with Hamish, and my God, I would have loved to be a part of the Hunger Games. I too am such a fan, but yeah.
Well, I was disappointed you didn't end up getting to take that role in the Hunger Games. I feel like one of the biggest compliments ever is having to drop out of a project like that and then having Gwendoline Christie, of all people, take that role.
She's incredible.
I feel like that's so flattering to you too, because she's wonderful. You're wonderful.
She's so wonderful and amazing. And I love everything, it was all fine.